In the roaring world of sports, few names have echoed across time with as much power, grace, and dominance as Serena Williams. Her journey isn't just a tale of trophies and titles. It's the saga of an unstoppable force who reshaped what it means to be a woman, an athlete, and a legend. From the dusty courts of Compton to the global stage of Wimbledon, Serena's story is the rise of a queen who refused to kneel before circumstance. But what if I told you that behind every swing of her racket lies a storm of pain, rejection, and unshakable belief? What if the real Serena Williams, the one the world never truly saw, wasn't born on a court, but forged in struggle, sacrifice, and an unyielding dream shared by a family who dared to believe the impossible? This is the untold story of Serena Williams, the queen of tennis, whose legacy transcends sport, whose power shattered barriers, and whose journey from Compton to immortality will leave you breathless. Serena Jamaica Williams was born on September 26, 1981, in Saginaw, Michigan. She was the youngest of 5 daughters to Richard Williams and Oracene Price, a family of fire, faith, and fierce belief in destiny. When Serena was just a toddler, her father watched a tennis match on television and made a decision that would change history. His daughters would become champions. The world saw poverty, crime, and concrete. But Richard saw potential. He saw Serena and Venus not as statistics, but as seeds of greatness. With no formal training, no connections, and no backing from elite tennis institutions, he crafted a 78-page plan for success, a blueprint that would take his daughters from the public courts of Compton to the heights of Grand Slam glory. Imagine this. Little Serena, barely 5 years old, waking before sunrise, dragging her tiny racket to a graffiti-covered court surrounded by gang activity. Gunshots echoed in the distance. Police sirens screamed. But Serena's focus never wavered. Her father stood behind her, shouting encouragement, molding her mindset. Never let fear play your game. Those courts were more than practice grounds. They were survival. Every swing was defiance. Every serve was rebellion. Serena learned early that talent was nothing without toughness, and greatness was impossible without grit. But the journey wasn't smooth. The tennis world was, at that time, a closed club, dominated by privilege, tradition, and expectations that didn't include girls from Compton. Serena and Venus faced stares, whispers, and prejudice. Coaches dismissed them. Tournaments ignored them. But Richard's voice was unbreakable. They're not just going to play, they're going to dominate. And they did. By the mid-1990s, the Williams sisters had begun to shake the system. Serena, with her raw power and fierce energy, wasn't like anyone the sport had ever seen. Her serve exploded like thunder. Her footwork was fierce, her presence magnetic. But underneath that power was still a teenager learning to balance fame, expectations, and identity. 1999 changed everything. Serena, just 17, won her first Grand Slam title at the US Open. She didn't just win, she demolished the world's best, defeating Martina Hingis with the swagger of someone who knew her destiny. Overnight, she became a phenomenon. But even as cameras flashed, her journey was only beginning. Serena's rise was electric, but her success wasn't always celebrated. Critics called her too muscular, too emotional, too bold. They tried to fit her into molds she refused to occupy. But Serena understood something the world didn't. If she didn't define herself, others would define her for her. Behind the victories was a fierce rivalry that shaped her path, her sister, Venus. To the world, they were competitors. To each other, they were reflections of shared sacrifice. Their matches weren't wars, they were mirrors, each reminding the other of where they came from and how far they'd come. But Serena wasn't always the best. For years, Venus was the face of dominance. The older sister, calm and composed, was a model of discipline. Serena often found herself in Venus's shadow, watching, learning, waiting. And that waiting ignited something deep, the hunger to surpass even the person she loved most. 2002 was the explosion. Serena won the French Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open all in 1 year, defeating Venus in each final. The world called it the Serena Slam. She was no longer Venus's little sister. She was a global storm, rewriting history one match at a time. Yet, with fame came scrutiny. Reporters dissected her every move, commentators criticized her attire, and fans questioned her temper. But beneath that glare, Serena remained focused. Her goal wasn't perfection, it was authenticity. Few know that Serena's mental strength was tested in 2003, the year she reached the pinnacle, and faced the unthinkable. Her half-sister Yetunde Price, who had been her confidant, was tragically killed in Compton. The loss shattered her. For months, Serena disappeared from the public eye. The girl who once ruled courts now struggled to find purpose in pain, but this tragedy became a turning point. Serena returned not just as a player, but as a woman transformed by grief. She realized that her success had to mean something more than trophies. It had to represent resilience, legacy, and love. 2004 to 2006 were turbulent years. Injuries, criticism, and doubt surrounded her. Many declared her finished. "She's done," they said. "Her era is over." But those who truly understood Serena knew better. She wasn't defeated. She was reloading. In 2007, she made a comeback that stunned the world. Ranked 81st, she stormed into the Australian Open and crushed Maria Sharapova in the final. Her victory speech was defiant. "I don't need validation from anyone. I know who I am." The Queen was back, and she wasn't asking for permission to rule. This wasn't just a win, it was a message. Serena had evolved from a champion to an icon. She became a symbol for every woman told she was too loud, too strong, or too ambitious. Her dominance wasn't just physical, it was psychological. She played with power, strategy, and emotion, proving that authenticity itself was her greatest weapon. But greatness comes with scars. Serena's career was marked by constant battles, not just with opponents, but with her own body. From knee injuries to pulmonary embolisms, her resilience became legendary. Each comeback was a statement. Pain could slow her, but never stop her. In 2011, a near-death experience changed her forever. After surgery complications from blood clots, Serena was told she might never play again. For most athletes, that would have been the end. For Serena, it was fuel. She looked mortality in the face and said, "Not yet." When she returned, the fire was even brighter. Between 2012 and 2015, she delivered one of the most dominant stretches in tennis history, winning multiple Grand Slams and once again completing the Serena Slam. Her serve became a weapon of legend, her composure under pressure, unshakable. Off the court, Serena was evolving too. She embraced fashion, philanthropy, and business with the same ferocity she brought to tennis. She wasn't just changing the game. She was redefining what it meant to be a global icon. She invested in startups, launched her own clothing line, and used her platform to advocate for equality. Yet with visibility came controversy. Serena's on-court confrontations, especially at the 2009 US Open, were magnified, dissected, and often misrepresented. Critics painted her as angry, but few understood the pressure, the frustration, the injustice that simmered beneath those moments. Serena wasn't breaking down, she was breaking barriers. Behind the headlines, she was also confronting racism and sexism that plagued her career. Commentators mocked her physique, sponsors overlooked her. Even in dominance, she was often treated as an outsider. But Serena turned those slights into fuel, saying, "Every time they said I couldn't, I did." And then, love found her. In 2015, Serena met Alexis Ohanian, co-founder of Reddit. Their relationship blossomed beyond the public eye. When they married in 2017, it wasn't just a union, it was a merging of two worlds, the powerhouse athlete and the tech visionary. But destiny had one more test. During her pregnancy, Serena suffered life-threatening complications after giving birth to her daughter, Olympia. Once again, she was told she might not survive. Once again, she fought and won. Even as a mother, she embodied the same ferocity that had defined her entire life. In her comeback after motherhood, Serena's performances were nothing short of superhuman. She reached 4 Grand Slam finals after giving birth, a feat almost unimaginable in modern sports. Though she didn't win those finals, her courage transcended victory. She was showing the world that motherhood and greatness could coexist. Her influence reached far beyond tennis. Serena became a voice for women's health, equality, and empowerment. She spoke openly about the struggles Black women face in medical systems. She stood for justice, for representation, for change. But through all this glory, there were still critics. Each time she lost, headlines screamed, "The end." Each time she returned, she silenced them all. Her career wasn't defined by perfection. It was defined by persistence. Her rivalry with Maria Sharapova became iconic, not for its balance, but for its symbolism. Sharapova was the media darling, Serena the rebel. But on court, there was no contest. Serena defeated her time and again, proving that respect is earned through results, not reputation. If you're enjoying this journey into the life of Serena Williams, don't forget to subscribe to Legacy Biographies, hit the like button, and share this video with others who love powerful life stories. Also, drop a comment. Tell us one fact you know about Serena that we didn't cover, or simply share how you felt about this video in just 1 or 2 lines. As the years passed, Serena became more than a player. She became a movement. Young girls from every corner of the globe picked up rackets, inspired by her audacity to dream. She wasn't just breaking records, she was building roads for those who would follow. Serena's fashion choices at Wimbledon or the US Open often stirred debate. The catsuit, the tutu, the bold colors. But every outfit was a statement. Women could be powerful and expressive at once. Style was not a distraction. It was declaration. Her relationship with her father also evolved. Richard, once her relentless coach, became her symbol of origin. Their story wasn't always smooth. Conflict, pressure, and love intertwined. But time revealed what the world often missed. His dream wasn't for control, it was for freedom. He wanted his daughters to own their futures. Serena's spiritual side deepened with age. She often credited her faith for her endurance, saying that her strength came from prayer, gratitude, and belief that every challenge had purpose. Her victories felt divine. Her defeats, lessons. Then came 2022, the year of goodbye. Serena announced her evolution away from tennis. Not retirement, but transformation. The word itself was intentional. She wasn't leaving the game. She was expanding beyond it. Her final US Open appearance was emotional, electric, and unforgettable. The crowd roared, millions watched, and tears filled the air. Even in defeat, she was victorious, because legends don't need to win their last match to define their greatness. After the match, Serena's words echoed around the world. It all started with my parents, and it wouldn't be Serena if there wasn't Venus. That statement encapsulated her soul. Behind the trophies, she remained a sister, a daughter, a woman deeply connected to her roots. The numbers alone are staggering. 23 Grand Slam singles titles, the most by any player in the Open era. 4 Olympic gold medals. Over 850 career wins. More than $94 million in prize money. But the real story isn't in the stats, it's in the soul behind them. Serena's journey is proof that greatness is never handed, it's forged. She fought on courts, in hospitals, in media storms, and within her own doubts, and each time she rose. Few know that during her 2012 comeback, Serena hired French coach Patrick Mouratoglou, who became not just a mentor, but a strategist who unlocked the final evolution of her game. Under him, her tactical intelligence reached new heights. Together, they studied opponents frame by frame. They analyzed serves, footwork, emotions. Serena turned into a chess player with a racket. Every move calculated, every risk deliberate. That's why, even at 33, she dominated players a decade younger. Her training was brutal. She practiced until her hands blistered, until her body screamed, yet she smiled through it. "You have to love the suffering," she once said, "because in pain, there's power." And perhaps that's her secret, the love of pain, of challenge, of proving herself again and again even when she had nothing left to prove. For Serena, winning wasn't just about beating others. It was about defeating doubt. She once confessed that early in her career, she struggled with body image. The media praised her competitors' lean frames while mocking her muscular build. But instead of changing, she embraced it. Her body became a symbol of strength for millions who didn't fit the mold. By 2015, she wasn't just a tennis player. She was the face of resilience. Time magazine listed her among the 100 most influential people. She graced covers, walked runways, and spoke at global forums. She was no longer fighting for recognition. She was shaping culture. Yet fame didn't shield her from failure. In 2018, at the US Open final against Naomi Osaka, a controversial confrontation with the umpire drew headlines. Critics attacked. The crowd booed. But when Serena comforted a tearful Osaka during the trophy ceremony, the world saw her humanity shine brighter than any victory. That moment symbolized Serena's true greatness, not in dominance but in grace. She showed that legacy isn't just about power, it's about how you rise after falling, how you lead even when you lose. The story of Serena Williams is also the story of reinvention. From a shy Compton girl to a global force, from athlete to mother, from champion to changemaker, each phase was a rebirth. She once said, "I don't like to lose, but I'm not afraid to fail." That mindset defined her. Where others saw defeat, Serena saw direction. Each setback became fuel for her next climb. Even after stepping away from tennis, Serena's empire continues to grow. Her venture capital firm invests in women-led and minority-owned businesses. She's ensuring that others, too, have a chance to write their own victory stories. Her fashion line, S by Serena, celebrates inclusivity, confidence, and individuality. It's not about perfection, it's about power, just like her. Through the Serena Williams Fund, she's helped build schools in Jamaica and Africa, supported social justice initiatives, and funded education for underprivileged youth. Every act echoes her belief that true greatness gives back. But perhaps her most lasting impact lies in visibility. Because of Serena, the image of a strong, unapologetic black woman dominating the world stage became normal, not exception. She didn't just change tennis, she changed perception. Even today, young players like Coco Gauff call her their inspiration. Serena paved the road they now walk. Her legacy isn't confined to trophies, it lives in every young athlete who dares to dream beyond boundaries. Looking back, it's easy to see her as invincible. But that's the illusion greatness creates. The truth is, every time she stepped on the court, she carried the weight of expectation, the pressure of representation, and the shadow of scrutiny, and still delivered magic. Behind her victories were silent tears. Behind her smiles, sleepless nights. Behind her confidence, countless insecurities conquered one by one. That's what makes Serena human, and her journey divine. When Serena played, time stood still. The way she clenched her fist, the roar that followed a point, the intensity in her eyes. It wasn't just sport. It was performance, poetry, power. Sports historians will study her numbers, analysts will break down her stats, but storytellers, like us, will remember her spirit. Because Serena's story isn't measured in wins, it's measured in will. And that will was born long before fame. In the heat of Compton, in the belief of a father, in the laughter of 5 sisters chasing dreams too big for their neighborhood. That's where Serena's greatness began. She wasn't supposed to make it, the system wasn't built for her, but she forced it to open its gates. Every serve she hit was a statement. I belong. She faced racism, sexism, injury, heartbreak, but none could outlast her. Because Serena Williams doesn't just play matches. She plays destinies. Her journey resonates across borders, races, and generations. It's the universal language of perseverance, the kind that turns adversity into anthem. From her iconic beads in the 90s to her elegant farewell dresses, Serena's evolution is also the evolution of womanhood itself, bold, unapologetic, and ever-changing. She taught us that strength doesn't hide in silence. It roars, it celebrates, it wears color, emotion, and conviction with pride. And through it all, she never lost her humanity, She laughed loud, loved deeply, and lived fully. She made mistakes, owned them, and grew from them. That's the mark of authenticity. Her story reminds us that greatness isn't about being flawless, it's about being fearless. And Serena Williams was the definition of fearless. She once said, "I've never been the right kind of woman. I've never been the right kind of player, but I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be." Those words are her crown, heavier than any trophy. In a world that demanded conformity, Serena chose authenticity, and that's what made her eternal. Her influence isn't fading, it's multiplying. Her foundation supports mothers, entrepreneurs, and athletes. Her story continues in every woman who dares to take up space and refuse apology. Even her daughter, Olympia, symbolizes that legacy, a new generation born not to start from scratch, but from strength. Years from now, people will talk about records and titles, but those who truly understand will talk about impact, courage, and transformation. Serena didn't just play tennis, she redefined it. Behind every title lies a story of sweat and sacrifice. Behind every comeback, a war unseen. Behind every smile, a scar healed. That's Serena. She taught us that queens aren't crowned. They rise. Through storms, through struggle, through sheer willpower.